Hi there, I have a rather in-depth video for you today. It's regarding how to get the best from the Stream Deck music library, particularly if you are using Ecamm Live. I cover how to make sure the settings are such that you and your listeners can hear the Stream Deck music. There's a few little tricks that are required, and I'll show you some of the other settings that you'll need to know to make sure that it all runs as smoothly as possible. So, Stream Deck has a music library. So what I'm going to do is just move on to this this video that I have here, and it is silent. You can hear me, but there's no music going on. So I'm going to now just add some music to the video from the Stream Deck library, and you should be able to hear this music in the background, and with a bit of luck it suits the video quite nicely. So you can add music to a silent video if you want to. I mean, the original music or the original sound on this video was more or less wind plus a little bit of talking from the person who actually made the video. So I've taken the sound off and enabled the music from the Elgato Stream Deck to play over the top. And this is what I want to be able to let you do. Obviously, you don't have to play it over a video. You could just play it in the background whilst like a timer might be coming along, or any other reason you want music in your streams. So, without further ado, let's move on. And one thing I'm going to do is just move on to the next scene to prove that the sound still keeps playing. So you do have to actually stop it on the Elgato Stream Deck, and I'll show you how to do that. So I've just killed off the sound, but what I wanted to do was cover some of the things that are in the Elgato Stream Deck software for music, and a lot of the questions that get asked. So if you go to the Elgato Stream Deck website, you'll see that you can read about the copyright, which is the biggest question. So it says Elgato Stream Deck music, sound effects, and copyright. And the big question for most people is, are the music and sound effects royalty free? And the answer is yes here. These are royalty free. It means that you don't need to worry about copyright infringement, no subscription memberships or Patria attribution is required. It's where can you use the sound effects? It says anywhere, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, etc. are all listed there. Can you monetize content using the Stream Deck music effects? And the answer is yes. They're royalty free, and they can all the audio can be part of any monetized content that you will create. And will I risk copyright notice, strike claims, or takedowns using Stream Deck music? And it says emphatically here, no. Elgato and Storyblocks, and this is the important thing, Storyblocks have licensed their audio library to Elgato, and it's the royalty-free area of Storyblocks, so you should not have any copyright claims. However, if you do get a copyright claim on a published document or published video that you have used Elgato's Stream Deck library, sound effects, or music for, you can go and report the incident to this address. There's an HTTPS address just here, and you'll find that on the Elgato help desk, and you simply answer or mention these three things. Link to the video which you've posted, which has the problem. You tell them which audio track it is that you've used, and name the claimant. Now, the fact is that there are more and more pirates out there trying to claim that music is theirs and trying to claim the benefits from that music. So letting Elgato know is a really good thing so that they can stop this this kind of practice. Anyway, so that is where we are, and you'll find it at help.elgato.com. So moving on. This is my Stream Deck, and I've got a sounds profile. What you'll see is the ones where it says applause and air horn and bring, and these kind of icons here are representative of the built-in sounds that come with Ecamm. So you can assign one of the Ecamm sounds to a button in the Elgato Stream Deck. If I just click on one, I'll just show you the software. This is the software, not the actual device, of course. And what it says is that you can change the title, and you can choose the sound effects. So the sound effect is there. You can choose a file, and you can have an option there for the actions. So you can play and stop it. You can play and restart it. Let me explain play and restart. It's a bit of a pain. Every time you press the button, it simply restarts from the start again. So there's no stop functionality there. And the loop stop means if you pressed that to play the music or the sound effect, it will simply loop until you press it again, when it will stop playing. So there are your options, and you have a volume control, which is controlling the volume of the track or the effect only while it's playing through the Stream Deck. So just remember this, there's a couple of different areas. If you've got it programmed on the Stream Deck, then the volume here will control the Stream Deck audio sound. So let me just play that one and give myself a round of applause, and you can hear that there quite easily. Okay. I don't need to do anything to stop it. It simply stops automatically in this situation. We've got some other normal sounds or effects from Stream Deck here, and what I've done is I've left the text as white text when it is a sound effect, and it's green text when it is a track that's playing a longer piece of music, essentially. So that's what we have here. And let me just show you, if I click on this upbeat corporate, it is slightly different. So when you click on one of these, you get the title functionality. You can choose the file, so you click choose here, and your actions are slightly different. You've got play and stop, which is fairly normal. Play overlap is interesting because it literally plays several times over the top. So if you've got a track, you can play 2 or 3 instances of that track, one on top of the other. It's quite an interesting effect for some tracks. Play and restart is that restarting one. You can never stop it, and you can tell it to loop as you did the other one, and then stop looping by pressing the button the next time. The other interesting setting that we have with Stream Deck music is that you can tell it to fade out. And I like to fade out, or fade controls. I like to fade out the music tracks because that gives you a nice effect. I don't find the need to fade music tracks in because normally you want them to start playing as soon as you hit the button. But you've got to fade in and fade out, no fading at all. So if you have no fade, the music stops abruptly as soon as you press the key on the Stream Deck. So fade out is good, and you've also got the ability to change the length of time that the fade out occurs. And I kind of have been liking to use the 3-second setting. And again, you have this volume control for your audio from your Stream Deck. The way that you can get a music track from the Stream Deck into your system is, if you look on the right hand side here, we've got our normal what do you call these, profiles, app profiles. If you don't see it, it's going to be available in this drop down list here. If you click on that list, you can see all of these options, and the one you need to have is the soundboard. So the soundboard needs to be loaded there. If you have soundboard, you can click on the play audio and drag it to a button. Okay, and that automatically selects the fact that I'm going to be using a Stream Deck file, essentially. Now I can get to the Stream Deck files a couple of ways. That button there says Sound Effects, and that one there is the audio music track library, essentially. If I click on the Choose button, that will automatically open up the area on my computer where I've stored the Stream Deck sound bites. So it can be stream effects or music. What I've done is I've actually tagged these with a different color so that I know what a sound effect is or a music track. I've gone green for the music longer tracks, and the sound effects are all blue. The only file that's in there that's not a Stream Deck audio file is the cataloging system that's built in. And this audio folder is built within your user library. So if you start using this, you can find the path to that, but it's actually built down into the user library area. So all of the files that you save are saved into your user library. If I click cancel there, I just want to show you that if I click on the button that's, let's say, the music button here, then that will allow you to download a track from the library that's been licensed to the Stream Deck guys or the Elgato from Storyblocks. And you'll see up here it says there's 10,000 plus available tracks, which is fantastic. You can do a few things like select beats per minute and durations of tracks, just to filter those down. But there's a really good number of tracks that if you keep searching, you'll find lots and lots of tracks in there. Okay, so you can go to mood or instruments or genres, etc. And the other thing is you've got a search button there if you wanted to type something in like ambient or rock or whatever else it might be. So that's where you can then download the file. And if you hit the download button, it takes a few seconds to simply download the track to that previous folder I was showing you. If you want a preview of the sound, you can simply click the play button and you can see it's playing there. If I click further into that file, you can find out what it sounds like further down into the file. So it makes it quite nice to be able to choose and select your music. If you don't like it, you simply don't have to download it. Okay, I can click on the close button there. And so the sound effects and the music button will both take you to that same kind of area for downloading music into the folder which you approach by going to the choose button. So let me just click to the choose button one more time. It'll just liven up for a second. And if I choose explosion number 5 and click on open, you'll see that explosion number 5 comes in. Now this is actually a sound effect, so I would change the color to white. I wonder if I can show you that. I'll just change it to white here quickly for the text. So it says explosion there, and if I press that button now on my Stream Deck, you will have heard that explosion button. Okay, so I'll leave that on the system just for fun. Okay. Hopefully that covers most of those areas for you. So now I'll move on to show you the Stream Deck itself. So this is my Stream Deck in the inset, and you can see that the buttons match the app design, as anybody who owns a Stream Deck knows that that is the case. And if I wanted to, I can just zoom in here with a bit of luck. Give me a second. I can zoom in and you can see there's some of the buttons there. If I press Prairie Winds, which is a music track, let's press it. Look in the screen at the bottom down here. It counts down in the button to the end of the track. So the Stream Deck gives you a really good idea of how long that track has to play, if that's important to you. Of course, if it's just a sound effect, it may only be a few seconds, but longer tracks are really useful to know when they are going to finish. If I press that button again, we know that I've programmed all of my music sounds to fade out on 3 seconds. So if I press it one more time now, that's a nice gentle fade that comes along with that. So that's the Stream Deck with the keys there, and you can see the explosion button, which I just simply added just there. Okay. Okay, into Ecamm and the settings which are required by you if you're using Ecamm to be able to hear these tracks play. You don't really have a problem if you're loading your tracks into the Ecamm Sound Effects window, because it just naturally loads the sound effects, but that's not true for the sound effects from the Stream Deck system. You need to make sure that a couple of things are in place. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have system audio loaded onto your computer into this into Ecamm settings. You can get there by, if I just show you, if you go into Ecamm Live's preferences and you go to the audio button, you can then go to this broadcast system audio area, and if you haven't enabled system audio in Ecamm, then this window here will say either load or launch. Once you've got that, there's a few options here, and the drop down in there that you can't see now says broadcast system audio. You can have it as never. If you had never selected, then it would actually turn off this system audio here, and it would actually disappear from this sound levels window. If you choose when in screen sharing mode, then that's absolutely fine. You can have that, but I tend to use it and have it on all the time. What that means is that you have to be aware of what's on in the system audio in the sound levels area of Ecamm, so that you can mute it. I can click on mute and mute that system audio if there's a system sound that I do not want to play. But if I try to play any of the sounds from Stream Deck right now, it wouldn't play. Okay, I can show you that, because if I play something, I'll just turn it up on the speaker. You can hear that through the microphone I'm using, but not through the system audio. If I turn on the system audio, it becomes quite clear that you're now hearing the Stream Deck music. Let the music on the time, and I'll just bring the audio down from my computer speaker. In the sound levels window, the sound effects here is when you are using Ecamm's own sound effects. So things like the applause, and you'll see those in the, if I go back to this window, these items here, so applause and bicycle horn, and these items in this area are what are controlled under the sound effects here. Okay, so I can play the sound without having a Stream Deck just by simply clicking. Let's click on the applause. And you can hear that, and that just plays quite naturally. The interesting thing is that if you do play it from this dialog box, if you click on the gear icon, it opens up a window, and unfortunately you can't see it, but it gives you the ability to control the volume from that window and also to loop the audio, so you can loop it there if you want to. Okay, and you can stop it too. I've actually loaded some other tracks into another folder on the Mac and loaded them into my sound effects window. There are certain benefits to being able to do that, and I can add any external track if I want to, an MP3 in this case, and I can put those in a folder. And by doing that, if I click on the play button in the folder, Ecamm will simply play one track after the other and loop them automatically for you, which is quite nice. And also you've got the benefit of being able to drag those onto a window and they will then play in that scene. So there are benefits to having tracks just simply within Ecamm. But if you've got a Stream Deck, you cannot add a Stream Deck file into this sound effects window, okay, because they're a special file format. They are the Stream Deck file format that you saw earlier. So it actually says Stream Deck, so you can't add those. The only way you can play those is by pressing the button on a Stream Deck device. The other area that you want to look at perhaps is the drop down in the Ecamm window, just where the Ecamm Live name is at the top left of your Mac screen. This is the drop down that you would get, and I've highlighted it here that says uninstall system audio. It's just in that little area of the window there. If you haven't installed it, then that window is likely to say install system audio, and it gives you another way of installing it away from the preferences window, which is in the background. If you've already installed system audio and you decide you want to move it away, then you can uninstall the system audio as well. Okay, back onto the Stream Deck. So I wanted to just clarify that you can see if I play any music or any track, let's just go for Prairie Winds, that it will show you the countdown timer on that track, and you can stop it at any time. Okay, so that's there. But one of the things that I want to really clarify for you is that, and it took me a little while to work this out, I need to go into demo mode first. So I'm now in demo mode on my Mac. Hopefully you'll be able to see this because I've got a big screen. But if I'm playing music, and I'll play this ambient music here in the background, and I'll just turn it down a touch if I can. Hold on. So I'll turn that down so hopefully you can hear me very well. In your speaker control up here, you need to have the Ecamm Live app audio selected. Okay, this enables you and your listeners, people watching the video if you're live streaming or when you're recording the video, that Ecamm Live app audio needs to be selected as your output device when you're playing Stream Deck music, okay, through the system audio channel. If you change to internal speakers, watch or listen to what happens. So you've now lost the real music. It's now not showing up here on the system audio area. There's nothing there. The only thing you can hear is through my microphone. Okay, and so you may hear a bit of background noise because I've got the internal speaker playing the music. So I have to have Ecamm Live app audio selected as the output device. Once I do that, that brings the music back to the system audio, but I can also hear it on my speakers, or if I was wearing headphones, which I really should be doing, then I can hear it in the headphones as well. However, the control of the volume of the music here, if I were to slide this up and down, does not control the volume that you can hear as a listener to the live stream or the recording. Okay, so if I turn this up here, the only reason you can hear it better is because it's coming through the Yeti microphone that I have, but it hasn't increased the volume that's in the background actually coming properly through the system audio. Okay, so it's just a nice little tip, that one. So I'll just pause that or finish that sound as well. So hopefully you're keeping up with me here. And now what I'll try and show you is some of the benefits. I'll just recap the benefits that we've now seen. So give me 1 second. So Stream Deck benefits are that there are 10,000 plus audio tracks available to you. That's sound effects plus proper real tracks, musical tracks. Most of the tracks are music ones are probably 2 to 3 minutes long. I don't think there's any really that are more than 4 minutes. That's what certainly the filter end anyway, but that's where they are. The great thing is that they are royalty-free tracks, so you should be able to use them for all of your productions, whether you're doing anything for YouTube, Facebook, or live streaming, Twitch, etc. It's quite explicit on the website that I showed earlier that those are royalty free and you shouldn't be getting copyright issues with any of those tracks. And if you do, then there's a simple way of reporting it and it won't cost you anything. So there's no need to load the sounds into Ecamm Live's sound effects panel. Indeed, you can't load the Stream Deck music library files into the Ecamm Live sound effects panel. They are essentially an encrypted audio file type that you can only use by pressing a button on the Stream Deck. But you do obviously need to assign each sound to a Stream Deck key. You could, of course, I'm sure, probably have a multiple action key, a multi-action key, and have several sounds following one another and be quite creative on that side of things. But I've shown you how to load a key in the Stream Deck app already. There's a variety of fade out and play stop options, which I also showed you. Didn't really go into too much detail, but you know, have a play around. And the great feature is that when you're playing a track on the Stream Deck, you can see how long that track has yet to play. So that's really quite nice. And also I really do like the fade out options that you've got and your independent volume control on the Stream Deck application interface. System requirements, just going through those again. You need to load system audio into Ecamm Live. You get there by going into Ecamm Live's preferences, into the audio tab, and then broadcast system audio and turn it on there. And you've got a few controls there. You need to ensure that your system audio is not muted in the Ecamm Live sound effects window, else people won't hear your music that you're playing from there. And the other thing that will stop people hearing the music is if your Mac speaker output is set to internal speakers, you must go to the Ecamm Live app audio option, okay, to hear that music. So I hope you found that interesting and useful for you. So let me just do a final thing. I'll play out that movie. And whilst that movie is playing, I can now add the sound effect from the Stream Deck over the top so you can hear that. If you have any questions about Stream Deck or Ecamm, please leave the questions in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. If you want me to do any more videos or have questions that you need to ask, please also let me know in the comments, and leave a like if you like this video. Thanks for watching.